Hello everyone, Bertina Amy here, and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I thought I would do a DIY Cancer Dragon Junk Journal page spread 6, and this one is about gratitude. Please stay tuned till the end of the video because I have exciting announcements about junk journaling related concepts coming up. I'm just using Elmer's glue here, and then I'm leaving a gap closer to the spine because I don't want that to cause it to peel or whatever, so it's going to need it anyways. And I will later glue closer to the edge. I just wanted it to get stuck down first and let that dry before I put the edges part in, or with glue anyways. So for this page spread, I really wanted more of a purple theme. So I go ahead and take my purple ink stamp pad and I just ink the entire base of this page spread. I hope that makes sense. You can tell that there's a lot of ridges and things like that, and it really captures a lot of that purple ink. Then I go ahead and take my script stamps and I just ink those in black and go everywhere that I can with the different script options. And I did use the larger ink pad at first, but it seemed that was more faded, so I went ahead and used my trusty archival ink stamp pad in black soot. I don't have a block to place these onto, but I was struggling to peel them off anyway, so I just keep them on the sheet and just ink them and then just place them throughout. So in my Pro Canva account, I actually designed this mason jar. Basically, I took a regular mason jar and I changed the colors because I wanted it to be purple. It had more of a bluish tone before, so I really wanted purple, so I go ahead and changed it to purple. I printed it out onto cardstock twice, and I cut one off camera, and here I'm just cutting off the second one as well. I already had a vision for how I wanted to make this, and I wasn't sure what type of plastic from packaging I should use, but I wanted it to resemble as close to real glass as possible without being real glass. And so I went with whatever plastic packaging I had near my little craft corner. So I tried to cut it down to size with it being slightly larger than the glass area of the mason jar. And I had about maybe a half an inch or less around the mason jar because I wanted it to curve around it slightly, which obviously would create more bulk in this page spread, but I'm making this removable after all. I wasn't sure how I was going to attach it because as I was attaching the plastic to this cardstock, it was actually curving for me, sure, but it was also causing a bigger bulk and I didn't want it to be impossible to close all the way. So this will be removable, but this is going to be my gratitude jar in my junk journal in here. And you can see that I start out first with stapling it onto the cardstock, but unfortunately I ran out of staples and we don't have an extra spare bit of staples. So I go ahead and hand sew the rest of it. And honestly, either one really works, just kind of whatever you have on hand. This is a junk journal after all, so I'm trying not to spend any extra money. So then I take my second mason jar and I cut the lid off, and then I decide to go around in like kind of like an outline over the entire mason jar because I want to use it to cover up the staples that I've used to attach the plastic to the original backing of the glass mason jar. And I, anyway, go ahead and do about roughly about a half an inch width when I cut around on the inner part of this mason jar. Then I just go ahead and hot glue it all around just so that it could cover up those staples or any sewing that I've done. I took some scrap bit of purple fabric and wrap it around thinking that that looked cute, but I felt like it was too short, so I fix it later, but it was too short because I had to cut in half and then glue it to the backs, but I needed it to be longer, so I do this a little bit later. I then wanted to deal with the lid portion. I wanted it to look more, originally my plan was to take some scrap bit of cardboard, which I do here, and I was going to wrap aluminum foil around it, but then I felt like it would stand out too much and I really wanted this to match the overall mason jar that I created already. So I changed my mind and then decided to just use that bit of lid that I did cut off and then some scrap bit of cardboard and then glue that on there and cut it out to the right size. I also curved it as well prior to gluing it on because I wanted it to stick out a little bit so it's more like a 3D element. I repeat that with the lid, but I actually glue it directly straight onto the backing so that it looks thicker, but that way you have an opening for the very top to throw in your gratitudes. That's kind of what I did to design this, and I feel like it works, even though it kind of looks like it's open and it kind of looks like it's closed at the same time. I can't really explain it, but let me know what you think of this in the comments below. This was an experiment, and I just really couldn't wait to try this project idea out. For the side part of the lid, you can see I created a little bit of tabs and bent them so that I could make it pop a little bit. And then I just glued those tabs to the backing or the background of the actual lid or whatever the side lid. I hope that makes sense. And then I had more of that scrap fabric that I really wanted to use, the purple ones that I had that I've used throughout this project. And I go ahead and tear some extra ones and wrap them around the neck area because I wanted to cover up the imperfections of when I glued the other part on top. I hope that makes sense. And I do think it makes it look even cuter and adds more character. Then I go ahead and glue a matching clothespin to the back and decide to use more scrap fabric to go at the back end of this purple flower because I wanted to add this flower for extra embellishing. I first turned one into just a clip to help clip the mason jar onto the page. It's super easy. I just basically glued one of the petals onto the clothespin. Then I add some scrap fabric surrounding the other flower because I wanted to add more character. I have this sort of lavender looking mesh that I go ahead and I wanted it to kind of sort of create a veil over top the page spread, and I just go ahead and glue that onto the page directly so that it stays put and I don't have to worry about moving it or falling or losing it. Then I go ahead and hot glue this cute little purple dragonfly onto the lid as well. So originally when I started this project, I was actually going to just glue all the pages, the inner pages, together first before I bother actually attaching it to the cover. But I'm noticing that as I'm creating within these pages, it's getting a little bit too heavy to wait until the end. So here I'm going ahead and gluing the chunk that's so far glued together already to one end only, and in the next video I will glue the rest all together because I do have the base pages all ready to go, and there's only, oh my gosh, like 2, maybe 3 more months left of this project before I finally put the kibosh on it because it's basically about to be done, but I'm on the last video, it's just basically going to be a flip through. The last page is basically like a folder pocket page and me talking about the overall project and how it came together and what its use is for. So that's basically going to be the very last video. But in any case, I wanted to go ahead and at least glue part of it into it. And I think in the next video, I'm actually going to go ahead and glue the rest of it all in and then go through the last official spread, but then it's going to be another spread for a folder, and then the use of it will be a future video. Anyways, so yeah, 3 more videos, and that'll be it for this one. And there's also quality control on this gratitude jar because from the move, it just kind of had some wear and tear, if you will. So I'm fixing that up as well. So if you're in the Chicagoland area, I have a Facebook group that meets once a month in 3 locations: Naperville, LaGrange, and Chicago Ridge. A link to this group is going to be included on my beacons page very soon, but in the meantime, I do intend to include the link as a comment for this video, but if you don't see it, feel free to comment as a friendly reminder. For the first time ever, I'm going to be a panelist for Anime Magic in Chicago. So if you're interested in junk journaling and you're going to be there, please check me out. I am currently selling personally designed t-shirts based off of my book, The Cancer Dragon. If you were to ask me honestly, the idea for this logo came from my DIY Cancer Dragon wreath. To me, there's something to be proud of in becoming a Cancer Dragon Slayer, and I really hope my journey inspires you. These shirts were created with all of you in mind, and I was so happy with the design that I wanted to make it available for anyone who feels connected to this journey. August is Appendix Cancer Awareness Month, available only in orange, with 4 different sayings on the back. Here's a key in case you need it. New t-shirt releases each month, inspired by my memoir about defeating the odds. The book is now available on Amazon in paperback, hardcover, and Kindle. Scan the QR code at the end of this video for your copy. So inspire everywhere with everywhere. The basic gist of it is, I became diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, got pregnant during fertility treatments, refused to abort despite my doctor's warnings that I'd die at birthing my child. For book updates or to support me, scan the code or click the link below. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.